I just got lower jaw surgery to fix my underbite in Canada, and I'm gonna break down how much it cost all in this video. Okay, so all in, I've calculated that the surgery cost me about $20,000 Canadian, and that includes my Invisalign costs. It includes the surgery itself, all of the hospital costs, and also the medicine that I had to take after. So I mentioned I live in Canada and we do have free healthcare. And so some of the costs, like the hospital costs, a majority of it was covered. But I'll also talk about what portion was covered by my work insurance, which was super helpful. Also, just so you guys know, I got Invisalign instead of traditional braces, but when I went to my consultations, everyone said that it would basically cost the same. So I think that this cost is like whether you do Invisalign or braces, it would come up to the same. My cost right now is only for lower jaw surgery. I'm also not including, by the way, I got braces like 15 years ago now when I was a teenager. That was obviously like paid for by my parents. I only straightened my top teeth at the time. We opted not to do like surgery back then, but I do believe that if I never straightened my top teeth back then and I only did it now, it would still cost the same because I am still getting Invisalign both on the top and bottom. Okay, so let's start off with orthodontics. I initially went to 3 different orthodontists to do my consultations just to see who would be able to do like Invisalign versus braces. So the one that I ended up going with cost me $8,250. The other 2 consultations, one came up to around like $9,000 and the other one was closer to $8,000. So all in all, call it I paid about $8,000 for my Invisalign. When I went to my surgeon for the very first consultation, I had to pay a consultation fee, which was about $200. Oh, I should also mention, I got my upper wisdom teeth removed like many years ago, and so I only had the bottom 2, but I did have to extract those in order to get the jaw surgery. So I paid about $1,700 to get wisdom teeth, the 2 at the bottom, removed, full anesthesia. So the actual surgery cost was $8,000 for lower jaw surgery only. But if I were to proceed with both top and bottom, it would have costed $11,000, so a difference of $3,000. In that $8,000, it covers the 3D like modeling, the actual surgery itself. $8,000 is the total for everything that I had to pay at this office. In terms of staying overnight at the hospital, and I stayed for 1 night, I paid $180 for a semi-private room. So 2 people in the room. It would have been $200 for a private room. And then if you were okay with like a 4-person room, it would have been free. I ended up paying $180 for a semi-private room. In terms of the medicine costs, so I got liquid T3, ibuprofen, amoxicillin, and then I also got a couple of refills of the pain medicine because I think they only give you 5 days worth or a week's worth. Like if you still have pain after, you have to refill your prescription. I think I paid about $400 total for all of the medicine that I needed. Then I have here some miscellaneous costs. So like a wedge pillow, squeezy bottles, stuff that helped me after. My surgeon actually gave me all of the ice packs that I needed, and the hospital did give me a couple too. And then the wedge pillow I had from like many years ago, but I think that maybe would have costed me $70. And then squeezy bottles, I just went to like a wholesale type of shop around here, so that probably cost me $10. I didn't really spend a ton of money on like miscellaneous items. All in, I'm rounding up to $20,000 just because I think that's easier, but the actual cost probably came closer to like $18,500. And I should say in Canada, a lot of that gets covered by healthcare and also work insurance if you have that. So these costs probably aren't applicable if you're not Canadian and doing it here. Like if you were to come from somewhere international, you wouldn't be able to stay in like the hospitals for free, but this is how much it would cost if you were Canadian. In terms of what can get covered by your work insurance, my work plan covers about $2,500 for orthodontics, and that's like a lifetime's work, but they don't cover everything up front, so you have to do monthly payments in order to claim it every single month. They don't cover anything for the surgery itself, so that was out of pocket. But my wisdom teeth removal was covered. The hospital stay, the $180, that was covered by my insurance. All of the liquid medication that I purchased, that was also covered by my insurance, which is really nice. Not everything was like claimed through the system right away. Like I had to manually input some of the claims myself, but they did end up being covered. So I mentioned like it was closer to $18,500. If I took out what was covered by my insurance, $14,000 is closer to what I personally spent out of pocket. In terms of what surprised me about the cost of the surgery, I feel like I thought that Invisalign or braces was going to be a lot cheaper than what it was. I mean, I don't know anything, but just like going into it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pay something like $5,000 to get braces or Invisalign. And I was pretty like shocked to see that the 3 different offices that I went to, the quotes came closer to like $8,000, $9,000. So that surprised me. In terms of the cost of the surgery itself, I actually thought the surgery was going to be a lot more expensive. Surgery just feels so much more invasive and feels like, you know, it would require so much more skill. I don't want to say that, but I hope you know what I mean. Like from the surgeon to actually like go in there and operate. So I'm surprised that it costs the same amount as my orthodontics. But I guess the trade-off is like for the surgery, it's only 1 day of, you know, the surgery, but there's like lots of follow-up after and lots of like appointments before. But for your orthodontics, it is like a 1.5 to 2 year process. So it does span over a longer time. But yeah, before looking anything up, I thought that the surgery alone was going to cost like closer to $20,000. So I was pleasantly surprised that it was below $10,000. When I was doing my research, I did look at places in the US to see like how much it would cost. If there is one area that I would spend money on in my life, surgery is a big deal. Like I want to make sure that it goes well. I did look into how much it would cost there. And so I didn't do any like consultations or anything. I just kind of like Googled some estimates from other people. And it looked like it was going to cost about $50,000 in USD. If it wasn't that expensive, I might have considered it, because Vancouver to LA, it's not too far. Although now, having done the surgery, there's just so many follow-up appointments that I don't really know how people do out of town surgeries. Like if you go back for every follow-up visit, like do you do it in person? When I saw that the price was going to be $50,000 USD and the conversion right now is killing us, I was like, no, you know what? Like the surgeons in Vancouver, some of them are well known and some of them are really experienced. So I decided to do my research into which surgeon I wanted to work with. And ultimately I felt comfortable with the one that I chose. Because the doctor that I worked with was also local, not accounting for any like travel costs, right? If you were to like use a surgeon that was out of province or state or in a different country or anything, or any hotel costs. And so I think that also ultimately like helped me save money. So in terms of like advice that I would have for other people who are going through the surgery, I'm doing it at age 32. So I've had quite a number of years to like save up from working and stuff like that, because it is lower than I thought, sure, but it is still a lot of money that could be spent elsewhere. And so I would say plan for your costs accordingly, put away money because it is an expensive surgery, and then also make plans for yourself during the recovery period. I'm taking time off of work and I am getting paid like a portion of my like usual salary just because I'm on short-term leave, but that's something you have to plan for to make sure that you have enough money to sustain yourself during this time. Or if you're someone that does like hard labor or like does a lot of talking, and I know I've been talking in these videos, but like outside of filming, I have my splint on and I'm like all day. So you just have to plan for whatever your situation or circumstances, how you're going to manage your funds basically during that time. So yeah, hopefully that helps you if you're considering jaw surgery in Canada. And even if you're outside of Canada, like I think it's a really good like comparison to use. It's 2026 right now, so these costs are based on 2026. I would be so curious actually, if you're comfortable, how much it costs you to do jaw surgery in your country. Because I've heard some European countries cover it for free. Like the surgery itself is free, not just like the hospital stay. So like that's freaking amazing. But there are also countries, of course, that don't cover it at all. Thank you for watching my video, you guys. I will post a 2-month update very soon.